Hey guys, this is Mr. Soy, and I wanted to show you how to use your TI-84 calculator to solve one of the problems that we're looking at in lessons 721 and 722, where we're trying to find linear models given 2 points. So here's an example. Given the following points, find the equation of a line that passes through these points. So we're given 1, 7 and 4, 12. Well, when we're using our TI-84 calculators, 2 points are really a lot like just being given a list or table of data with only 2 entries in it. And so the way that we found a linear equation when we were looking at data is the same way that we can find a linear equation when we're given only 2 points. In other words, we're going to find the least squares regression line using linear regression. All right, let's pull up our calculator. All right, well, first thing we need to do is put our data into our lists, just like we did when we were looking at sea ice, polar bear populations, etc. So to get there, I push my Stat button, and then I want the Edit menu and the very first option, Edit. So I'm just going to push Enter since it's already highlighted. There are my lists, and as you can see, and likely on yours, you have data from prior operations that you'd been doing. I like to highlight the list name and hit the clear button and then enter, and then I clear out my lists since I'm no longer using those data sets. So I'm going to clear these all out, and if you're doing this, it's probably a good idea to clear it out if you're not going to use it anymore. That will keep you from getting confused. Okay, and then the last one is cleared. All right, so remember that list 1 is our X data and list 2 is our Y data. So quickly going back to our points, our X data, well, that's going to be 1 and 4. So I'm going to go ahead and put that into our first list. 1, enter, 4, enter. Okay, now I need my Y data, and that goes into list 2. And I use the Y data for the point where X is 1 and the point where X is 4. Going back, we can see that for the point where X is 1, my Y data is 7. And at the point where X is 4, my Y data is 12. So 7 and 12. Back to my calculator. 7, enter, 12, enter. Okay, now I'm going to show you these 2 points on a graph, although you wouldn't necessarily need to do this if you're just trying to find the LSRL. But I want to kind of demonstrate what's going on in the calculator so that we can visually understand that we are finding an equation that passes through these 2 points. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my stat plot if it's not already on. I hit second, and then the button above it, the Y equal button. All my plots are off, so number 1 is highlighted. I'll just hit enter, and I'll turn that plot on. Hit enter for on. I want the very first graph type. If it's not selected, hit enter. And then my X data is in L1 and my Y data is in L2. And then that mark is good. Magenta, I'm just going to change it to green. Okay. Now I've got my stat plot on. I've got my data in my lists, and now I can plot it. What I don't want to do is I don't want to essentially just go with whatever my window setting is currently. The easiest that I've shown you is if I hit the zoom button and then number 9 zoom stat, it will always set the window to match the data in my list so I can see every data point graphed. So I'll hit number 9 zoom stat. And here we can see our 2 points. Now at this point, I don't really care about whether I see my X and Y axes because I'm just here to demonstrate that indeed we're going to find the line of fit of the line that passes through these 2 points. If you needed to graph this problem, then of course you could reset your windows so that you would have the X and Y axes and you would be able to see it much clearer. Okay, now I can see there's 2 points here, and I need to find the line that would connect these 2 points together. I'm going to go into my essentially statistical plots or my statistics menu by hitting the stat button. And I want to arrow over to the calculate menu at the top here. Calculate. And we go down to number 4, linear regression. And that's how we find our least square regression line. I hit enter to select it, and it gives me an option of X list, Y list. Well, those are exactly where mine are, and that's good. And then down here where it says store regQ, I want to store that in my Y1 so I can see it graph through those 2 points. To access my Y1, I simply select the vars button, and then in the menu at the top, I'm going to arrow over to yvars since that's what I want. And then we're in function mode, so I just have to push enter to go into that menu selection. And it gives me all of the y's that I have available. I'm going to use y1 by pushing enter. Now I can simply arrow down and calculate this, and it will give me my equation for my line that goes through those 2 points. This is the least squares regression line. Notice that we have the standard slope-intercept form of a line, y equals ax plus b, where a is my slope or rate of change. In this case, I would probably round that to 1.7. And then b, my y-intercept, which we have as 5.3 if I round that as well. I'm now going to hit graph just to show that this line does go through our 2 points. Here you can see it go through the first one and then through the second one. When we have 2 points, we are almost guaranteed to have the exact equation. Clearly, though, when we have large repeating decimals like we have, there has been some error introduced by the calculator. But in general, when we round these, we're going to get the correct answer. So in this case, for these 2 points, the line that passes through them is going to be the equation. Let's run it again. Y equals 1.7x plus 5.3. Hope this helped. Thank you.